What's up, everybody? This is Harry Bernard Taylor with the Straight Up Wrestling Show, and I'm here again. I'm gonna do a show before we get into Raw tonight. So I want to talk about last week, talk about Raw from last week, but NXT. Man, I gotta go ahead and give you a breakdown of NXT. NXT, I think, was off the mark. Man, it was on the mark, pretty much. It was pretty much on the mark. Now Raw fell short, but hopefully tonight, man, it rebounds, gets better because we definitely looking for a better product. So they definitely have to get on their game. But so first off, man, we're gonna go into Raw. We're gonna go into Raw, and just give me a minute here. But I want to make sure that I'm live on both platforms. So we're gonna get into Raw, and then we're gonna get into NXT. But NXT, man, was a great show. And if you missed it, I mean, if you have the app, go back, check out that show. It was a great show. In all actuality, I wish they would switch writers because they actually know what they're doing on NXT. They really do. I think it reminds me of Raw from back in the day. They're pretty much going the same way Raw was going from back in the day. So if you're an old Raw fan, I mean NXT is pretty much doing the same things that Raw was doing before. So let's go ahead and start off with Raw from last week. Before we roll on into Raw tonight, Bobby Lashley segment interrupted by Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, and they attacked Bobby Lashley and Big E joined in. So those two teams was well, they actually not teams. In this on the first, all four of those guys gonna be in the ring together, and it's all men for themselves, and they're gonna be going for Big E's championship. But during this episode, man, in the last couple of weeks, they have all been fighting, and it seemed like Big E is he's in there and he's taking up for Bobby Lashley. So they're pretty much going to war together against Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. So we'll see. Have to see what happens there, man. And it was brutal, but when it boils down to it, Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, man, they was able to lay out. They was able to lay out Big E and Bobby Lashley. So but actually, I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself because Bobby Lashley, just at the beginning here, Bobby Lashley was out there and he was talking with MVP. He had MVP out there. Bobby Lashley confronted Big E. So before that, he confronted Big E, and he was saying MVP said he could beat Big E by himself. So he pretty much left Big E in there. I mean MVP in there to go tangle with Big E before all this stuff went down. So that segment, I don't know really what I'm not gonna score that, but as far as giving it a thumbs up, a thumbs down, I really didn't give it a thumbs up, a thumbs down. So I'm just gonna roll on with that. It was okay. Bianca Belair, she beat Doudrop when she hit her with a finisher, the EST. She was able to pick Big Doudrop up uh, and bring her off the ring apron up on the turnbuckles, and she was able to slam her down with the EST, man, which was amazing. But besides all that, I mean, the match, it was okay. I went ahead and gave it three stars because of what Bianca was able to do, and getting Doudrop up and slamming her down to the mat, man, which was an amazing feat. Next, man, we had Finn Balor versus Austin Theory, which was a pretty good match, man. It wasn't a long match, but it was a great match. Austin Theory, he definitely has a lot of tools to work with, man. He's very talented, and he's definitely going places. And it looked like he's definitely trying to get Vince McMahon behind him. I gave that match 4 stars. And then we had Omos backstage segment with the Miz, Miz TV, which is predictable. So I gave that a thumbs down to that. Then the Mysterios versus AJ Styles and Omos for the match. I gave it 3 stars for that match, man. It was pretty much like one sided, but I had to give it a thumbs down to the aftermath of the match because of Omos turning on AJ, and I think the Mysterios won that match. Next, man, we had Randy Orton versus Chad Gable, which I gave 3 stars. Chad Gable actually, man, he showed his stuff in this match. I mean, he really did put up a great showing. I mean, he has a very good amateur background, man, and it showed in this match. But Randy Orton did get the win. Hey, man, I'm pretty much sorry about that, but yeah, Randy Orton got the win because I think Otis, yeah, he got the win, but and then Otis interfered and Orton couldn't RK Otis. He tried it 4 times, man. He bounced off the ropes, tried it. He tried a few different other variations. He tried to get Otis, tried to RKO Otis, but that didn't work, man. So Otis and him is gonna go at it tonight. All actuality. So I gave that match 3 stars between Chad Gable and Randy Orton. It was a pretty good match, man. Then we had Bobby Lashley, small talk with MVP in the locker room. I gave it 2 stars, man. It just, it pretty much fell flat. Next, man, we had Reggie and Dana Brooks segment, which I gave it a thumbs down. These two was running around outside in some little strip mall or whatever, and they was trying to get a hold of him. So I gave it negative 0.5, man, star rating. I thought it was ridiculous. At least when Reggie had the title, those segments were funny. I will say that. Next, man, we had Damien Priest versus Dolph Ziggler. I gave that match 3.5 stars, man. Now, Robert Roode did come out there. Robert Roode was actually out there, man, and he was pretty much, getting involved, and he was like distracting Damien Priest, and then Damien Priest went out there to went outside, man, with Robert Roode, and Robert Roode got a hold of him and hit him in the back and knocked him down. Man, that's when Damien Priest, he turned into his little devil. He turned into his demon character. And man, it was on then, and he just pretty much destroyed both guys, man. So I gave that match 3.5. And I think Damien Priest got the win. I don't know what in the world's going on here. I don't look like I had put who won these matches, but I think Damien Priest got the win in this match. But I think it was like by disqualification or something like that. But then we had Austin Theory jumping Finn Balor during an interview segment, and I gave it a thumbs down. It was just another thing, man, where I see that they was taking up TV time by doing this. I mean, it really didn't. It really didn't kick in, man. That's something that they didn't need to do. WWE has a lot of talent, man, that's sitting in the back that has nothing to do, and they continue to do things like this. So these are the kind of shenanigans that we don't need in wrestling, but we having it in both companies. So both companies, the big two, we seeing it in both companies, man, where they taking up TV time by continuing to do things like this. And then we had Theory's talk with Vince McMahon after he jumped Balor. And that was off the wall too. So I gave that was another thumbs down, man. Next we had Cutting Edge with guest Marisa. I gave that 2 stars, man. Miz did attack Edge from behind just like he predicted. But Cutting Edge, which I like to say, it was Edge, it was Edge, the Cutting Edge show. So he had Marissa as his guest. And then Marissa, he was telling Marissa that he wasn't gonna, she went ahead and gave a sob story about what Miz has done to her in her marriage and all that. And she was, upset about Miz putting her out there in front the week before to take, using her as a shield to protect her, protect themselves from Edge. And Edge was like, I'm not gonna fall for the okie doke. I'm not gonna let you set me up so Miz can come in here and attack me. But I mean, that's exactly what happened. While he was talking to her, Miz got him from behind, and she definitely was with her husband. And so how that went down, man, it basically was predicted. But I gave it 2 stars, man. Then we had Rhea Ripley versus Queen Zelina, which Rhea dominated the match. But I got to give credit to Zelina. She worked hard. For a small woman, man, she really put in a lot of work to try to stay in this match with Rhea. And Rhea is a brutal, she's a brutal person, man. She brutalizes her opponents, and she took her out, man. I gave it 1.5 star. I gave it 1.5 stars. So next, man, we had Big E and Bobby Lashley interview segment, which was awkward and it was unnecessary. So I gave that a thumbs down. Just more minutes taken up from unused talent, if you ask me. Then we had Liv Morgan in ring segment that brought out Becky Lynch, and it was not good. That gets a 1 star from me and thumbs down. It took at least 3 or 4 minutes of TV time. And once again, another waste. And that another waste is because it's talent, it's talent in the back room that they could be using, but they're wasting time by doing things like this. And it's nothing wrong with go ahead and premiere your talents, man. Premiere your talents, have them on the show, and let them come out there and do their interview segments and things like that. But when you do things like this, some things are just taken overboard, and this thing's been going on for weeks and weeks, and a lot of people really not interested in this. This right here, Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch, is not very interesting. It really isn't. So I think they just need to go ahead and have the match and talk about the matches coming up and let it be. And they can squeeze in a couple more matches, get some more talent on TV, and they definitely need that. We from what we're seeing with Raw, they definitely need that. Next, man, we had Bobby Lashley and Big E versus Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, which was set up earlier in the night. And this match, man, it was a pretty good match. I really didn't rate the match, but we did have that match. And I don't know. It's probably let's just go and say I gave the match 3 stars. I'm not really sure. I didn't even write down who won the match. Pretty much, man, when it boils down to it, I was like, my mouth was wide open because I was all shocked about how bad Raw was. I mean, Raw was not good. And I mean, I'm not just out here trying to bash Raw. Raw was not good last Monday night. And I was just pretty much I was in shock about how it came down. The pike, how it was looking. I didn't like it at all. So man, hopefully tonight we have a better show. And if you on Facebook, which I hope I am, I hope I am on Facebook, man. If you're on Facebook, hit that like, share, and join if you haven't joined the Straight Up Wrestling Show. And if you're on YouTube, hit that like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when we're coming on again. But like I said, Raw is coming up, and I know a lot of people, they do not watch these shows when we do a show right before, one of the shows is about to come up on TV, because people are getting ready for the shows. And man, I don't know if you're a Raw fan, you're an AEW fan, or you're a WWE fan. If you used to be used to be a WWE fan, go ahead and get your joy back, man, and become a fan of both. And check out the show tonight, and hopefully they have a better show. But I'm gonna go ahead and roll into NXT, which I was very interested in, and it's kind of a little different than what Raw was the other night. I mean, Raw, my attention wasn't exactly on it, except for I was just looking at the show and looking at how the show was presented. I really didn't like it, so it's a lot of things that I missed as far as how I rated it and things like that. I just pretty much put the matches down and forgot about really rating it, because I wanted to call Chris, and I wanted to talk to him and see if he had watched it and and I wanted to talk about how bad it was, because I really couldn't believe how bad it was and how bad it's gotten. But right now we're at the end of 2021, man, and hopefully going into 2022 they're gonna have better shows. So next, right now, man, we in NXT, which was on December 21st, man. We had the Tommaso Ciampa segment with Braun Breaker. I gave that segment a thumbs up. And Tommaso Ciampa was out there talking tough, man. He was talking tough and telling Braun Breaker, man, you don't have a chance with me. You come out here, you want to jump straight to the top. You're a new guy on the scene and all that. He said, and I know about your family's reputation and all. And, basically he was saying, what you want to do, you want to come in here and you want to pretty much take over. And you want to take my title and you want to take it home and you want to roof with your family. Pretty much referencing the dog-faced gremlin. So he said, you want to go out there and do all that and pretty much show who you was. And he was getting all in his face and all that, man. And and he slapped Braun Breaker, man. Braun Breaker didn't take very kindly to that, and he didn't attack him right off. But after a while, man, he kept on. And then when he pretty much referenced the Breaker's family, man, and he just kept on dogging him out. Braun Breaker got pretty upset, grabbed him by the neck, man, picked him up and had him pressed up over his head for a good 10, 15, maybe 15 seconds. And Tommaso, man, he was kicking, he was wanting to get down, and he just pretty much just like he was going to slam him down, and he just sat him down over into the corner. And Tommaso Ciampa, man, and he gave him his belt. First he had, Braun had the belt, picked up the belt, and when he gave Tommaso his belt, and Tommaso just grabbed it close to him, man, like, this is my belt. And like he was scared, man. So it just like, whoa. So it's really going to be something special when those two hook up again, and it's going to be soon. I think on the 2nd. So and that's so let's get ready for that, man. It should be a great match. Then we had a very good match, man, between Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, and this match right here was, I guess you could say, man, falls count anywhere or whatever kind of match it was, because it was a very brutal match. And they pretty much they started out, man, and they was in the back room, man, and these two women went at it. I mean, it was a hardcore match, man. I gave it 5 stars. I was very impressed. With the both of them. And man, I think this right here is solving everything. And Raquel Gonzalez, man, she pretty much made a statement with this match. And Dakota was not no slouch in this match, man. So I gave it 5 stars. It was great. Then we had and during this match, man, I mean, Gigi Dolan, JC Jane, they did attack Raquel Gonzalez and Corey Jade. Okay, in that 5-star match. Right after this match, Raquel, let me not get ahead of myself. Sorry about that. But Raquel Gonzalez, after she beat Dakota Kai, and in that 5-star match, she went to the ring and she was pretty much she had a segment, and she was talking about who was she talking about? Let's see. She's talking about one of the girls, man, that's was in Toxic Attractions group. But Gigi Dolan and JC Jane came out there and they attacked Raquel Gonzalez and Corey Jade. But Corey Jade came out there before that, before they attacked her. And Corey Jade was saying she wanted a title shot for this title, which Raquel is pretty much, she has an eye on the woman who has the title. Goodness sake, man. I don't know why in the world I cannot think of the name of her right now, but Gigi Dolan and JC Jane came out there and attacked Raquel Gonzalez when, man, the one who has the title was up there. She was on the, she came up there on the video screen, and she pretty much was talking junk to Raquel Gonzalez, and then Raquel, without paying attention, she got jacked by Gigi and JC, and they cleared the ring of her and Corey Jade. So I gave that segment thumbs up. It was really good. It was carried out well. Then we had Joe Gacy and Harlan Apology, which I gave 5 stars, thumbs up. And during this time, man, Joe Gacy and Harlan, that apology, Harlan took one of the officials, man, grabbed him by the neck, and they was in a stairway, and it was about a group of these guys, about four. I mean, it's a couple of referees, Harlan and Joe Gacy and one other guy. He took him, and man, and just threw him down, just took him and just threw him down a flight of stairs, took him by his neck, threw him down a flight of stairs, man. It was I'm glad the guy's okay, because he's supposed to be wrestling him Tuesday night. So, but I gave that 5 stars, man. I gave it a thumbs up. It was great. Next, man, we had the Grizzled Young Veterans back room segment on the Creed brothers. That was good. I gave it thumbs up, man. Then we had Indy Hartwell and Persia fussing at Grayson Waller, which was great. I gave that a thumbs up. They was fussing at him, man, talking about some of the things that he's out there doing, man, and he's messing up their game and all that. So I gave that a thumbs up, man. Then we had the Creed brothers versus Grizzled Young Veterans, which was, it was interfered the match was interfered by Jacket Time and Briggs and Jensen. But, there was a good match. And the Creed brothers actually won the match. It was a good match. But like I say, there was outside interference in this match, but both teams wrestled very well. I'll give that match 4 stars. Okay, next we had Shirai and Tony Storm segment in the back, and they talking. And remember when they was tag team champions and all that, and Shirai, she kept on telling Tony Storm, "I don't like you, I don't like you." She always telling people, "I don't like you," but Tony Storm was like, because Io has been pretty much defending Tony Storm. And and Tony Storm, like, "I knew you like me. I knew you like me." And Io kind of had a smile on her face, but she like, "No, I don't. No, I don't." But I gave that a thumbs up, man. That segment was interrupted by by Dale Fantasma. But I gave that a thumbs up, man. Then next we had Dexter Loomis. He defeated Trick Williams with the crowd saying, "Whip that trick, which was funny as I don't know what. He defeated Trick Williams. I gave that 4 stars, man. Trick, he didn't have his boy out there, man. He didn't have Carmelo out there he didn't have Carmelo out there to pretty much have his back. So I gave that 4 stars. Then we had Grayson Waller, chair attack. He came in with a chair attack on Loomis. Then we see AJ Styles appear on the big screen, and I gave it a thumbs up. And Grayson Waller, he's been calling out AJ Styles, man. AJ came there, man, got out of the limousine, looked good and all that. So AJ was coming to face Grayson Waller, which that was next, man. We had Grayson Waller with a face-to-face with AJ Styles. I gave it 3.5 stars, man. Gave that thumbs up. Then we had MSK, man, with Riddle. Best day ever segment. Hey, thumbs up, man. These guys, Riddle, playful guy. All these guys are young guys, man. MSK, all young. They all into the skateboard thing and all that. So these guys out there hanging up, man. Riddle, he talks their language, and everything went down really well there. And they look up to Riddle. So I pretty much like that. It was a really good segment. So thumbs up to that. And then we had Von Wagner versus Adiras Enoch. I gave that match 2 stars, man. Von Wagner, very green guy, man. But maybe he's gonna be something. I don't know right now. He reminds me of a couple past wrestlers, man. Maybe a Val Venus, maybe Oz, and I'm talking about Kevin. Dang, man. I'm talking about man, what the heck is his name? But the guy, Diesel, he reminds me of a young Diesel or Oz. Let's just put it that way. Kevin Nash. He reminds me of a young Kevin Nash before Kevin Nash got a little bit more experience. This Von Wagner reminds me of him, and he's big like a Kevin Nash. Not as big, but he's a big guy. But I gave that match 2 stars, man. Then we had Elektra Lopez versus Eosharot. I gave that match 2 stars. The match was interrupted by Zion Quinn, and we know and Elektra Lopez, she's in love with Zion Quinn, but Dale Fantasma tried to come out there and they attacked Dale Fantasma first. The other two come out, man, and they attacked Zion Quinn, and he took them out. And then the leader of Dale Fantasma come out there, and he took, pretty much took care of him too. But I gave that match 2 stars, man. Then we had Tony D'Angelo versus the Bruiser, Pete Dunne. I gave that match, man. That was a 4-star match. It was a really good match. And, man, D'Angelo is nobody to mess with. But Pete Dunne had a little bit too much for him, a little too much experience, and he was able to take care of Tony D'Angelo. But I did give that match 4 stars. And Tony D'Angelo attacked Dunne after the match and injured him with a crowbar. So used the crowbar on him, man. And, hey, that's not shocking when you look at the profession. When you looking at the kind of shenanigans and things like that with Tony D'Angelo, which his family, his supposedly family is into, and Tony D'Angelo was like one of these guys who collect. So I'm not surprised, man, that he went and got a crowbar. He pretty much brought a crowbar out during his war games too. So he pretty much was throwing everything in, besides the kitchen, everything that came out of the kitchen was going into that ring. That guy don't play around, man. He's dangerous, and hey, I look for more great stuff as long as Tony D'Angelo stays in the business for a while. But for some reason, he looks like one of these guys to me that's not going to stay in the business for a long time. But I could be wrong. But great match, man. 4 stars on that. But overall, man, I gave but that was right there the main event. And we like 8 minutes away from Raw. I know you want to get to that. And but man, I gave NXT a 4.5 rating. I mean, that was a very good. It was a very good night to NXT. I should have did this a little bit earlier. Excuse me, but Straight Up Wrestling Show, man. Chris and I, my partner, we had so many things going on. I really didn't have time to really, get this message out, get this show out. But I'm gonna start trying to get the shows out at least a day after. If I don't get it right after the show, I'm about to watch a Raw. I'm gonna check that out and probably report on that tomorrow because we know that's 3 hours. And hopefully, like I say, it's better than what it was last week. Last week, man, I have to give that show 2 stars, and that's a D in our book, man. I mean, it was might have been a little bit lower. 1.5 might be at the all actuality. That might be what it deserved, man, because it really fell off the rails. And I know a lot of people, man, they're against Raw. They are, they have been losing the last couple of weeks, man. They've dropped under a 1.6. I think, last week for the first time, they dropped under a 1.6 rating. And, I mean, that's very bad. That's not good at all. But when it boils down to it, I do expect Raw to be back after football season is over. I expect them to get back to where they were, maybe up into the 1.7, almost 1.8 range. And they probably can move up into 1.9. Before sometime before the middle of the year next year. So, I'm not against Raw at all. I came back in when I started watching wrestling again. I tried to come in and watch it as a fan, not watching it as a critic. I know you have a lot of podcasters out here, man. They want to dog the product, and they look at Raw and they want to pin everything about the WWE on Raw, which is. They ignore now. SmackDown has every time you watch SmackDown, great shows. SmackDown's having great shows, and even though Vince has went over and took over NXT since Triple H, Triple H done had heart problems, so Triple H haven't been able to run it, and Vince have come in, and I think Vince and Bruce Picard has come in, and they've pretty much taken over. But NXT has been doing well. So I mean. That, like I say, that show last week, man, it was really good. This past Tuesday, man, I was very impressed with it. And to tell you the truth, I think NXT and Raw should switch writers, or NXT's writers should go on Raw and do Raw and NXT because it's really good. I mean, but it like I said, it reminds me of what Raw used to be. But I mean, when it boils down to it, I never was a fan of Raw. I never was a fan of Raw. Chris always was a huge fan. So Chris turning on Raw pretty much was a shock to me. It pretty much was a shock to me because he's always enjoyed exactly what Raw brought to the table. And NXT right now, if you ask me, is bringing exactly what Raw brought to the table. So, but I'm going to let you go ahead and go because I know that people want to people want to enjoy Raw tonight. People are going to be watching Raw. Maybe there's some football games on or whatever. I know right now we're in bowl season and there's some bowl games on. My team, my school plays tomorrow in their bowl game. So I probably won't watch NXT. I'm not sure. Either way it go, I will be streaming that. So I will check that out later. But I'll get back to you. So I'm Harry Bernard Taylor, and once again, I'd like for you to hit that like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, man, share, and join if you're not part of the Straight Up Wrestling Show, and tell your fans about us. Tell your friends about us, and hey, we'll see you next time, and hopefully me and Chris together, me and my partner Chris Burton, we're together, and we'll do a show together, and I'll check you later. But until then, stay straight up, And man, stay straight up as a fan of wrestling, and don't let nobody steal your joy, man. Don't let nobody make you hate a product that you grew up watching, that you grew up liking. Enjoy it. Have a good one.